Welcome to On Air with Amber Wynn, where nonprofit leaders learn to fuse passion and commitment with proven business strategies to create long-term funding, impact, and sustainability. And now here's your host and resident philanthrepreneur, Amber Wynn.
Welcome to On Air with Amber Wynn, Philanthrepreneur, where I share my 30 years of nonprofit experience as a funder, an executive director, a grant writer, all things with my community. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Today's topic is called No-Show. I've had several conversations with different clients about, Amber, I'm giving these amazing, courses or workshops or whatever, and I just can't get people to come and, participate. So there's a no-show of people coming to the programs and services. So if you are struggling to fill your programs, then today's topic is for you. Because the reason why you're offering them is because ideally there's a need and you're there to fill the need. So what does it mean when the constituents who have the need, they're not showing up for your programs? We're going to dive deep into that as we move forward. But first, we're going to pause for a quick commercial. Nonprofit doesn't mean no profit. Unlock your nonprofit's revenue potential with the book of non-traditional funding ideas. From startups to established organizations, discover creative strategies to cover expenses, even with zero budget. Find actionable ideas and cost-saving tips. Benefit from my 30 years of fund development experience, securing over $6 million for clients. Order now and diversify your funding streams. Welcome back to On Air with Amber Wynn. Today we're talking about if you're struggling to fill your programs. A lot of times we look at our community and we say, man, it would be great if we had X, Y, and Z, or you see a need and you're like, I'm going to step in to fill that need. And sometimes, though it's with great intention, you need to do a little bit more than that. You need to have more than intention. You need to know, if you start this program, will they come? It's not always you build it and they will come. A lot of it has to do with understanding your community. Maybe it's your approach. Maybe it's the delivery method. It could be multiple things. I will tell you, having been a programs administrator, delivering, programs, it's important that you assess your community. You may see a need that is really something that is reflective of a few people. But if you do a community assessment, and it could be anything as small as like a focus group. Go to a library, rent out a room, go to a community center, rent out a room, and just invite just a slice of your community in to give you feedback on, number one, the type of programs that you're delivering. If you're saying, okay, well, I'm going to deliver this youth development program. It's going to be 3 times a week for 2 hours, and you have to commit. You can't miss a day. Like, that might be the reason why people aren't showing up. They can't commit. Or if you're going to say, well, we're going to meet at 11 to 2 for seniors, maybe they can't commit to that because they have, issues with transportation. You just don't know. But the only way that you can know is if you ask your community. The other thing you can do besides focus groups are surveys. Maybe you can send out a survey link and say, hey, we're thinking about providing you with these types of services. Answer these 5 questions to help us better serve you. And that's when you would say, which would be a better time for you to meet? Is it weekday or weekend? Is it 2 hours or 90 minutes? Is it, and give them options. And that way you have a better understanding of what it is that your community needs. And then you can shape your programs and services, the way that you deliver it, the time that you deliver it, that's going to meet the needs of more people, right? Because maybe you meeting on Saturdays from 11 to 2 will only work for 2% of your community, right? But if you offered it on a Thursday at 7, from 7 to 8, you'd get more people to turn out. But you don't know unless you actually do an assessment. It could also be, though, beloved, if you've been delivering these programs for the past 2, 3, 10, 20 years, your topic could be stale. I know, I'm so sorry. But this is what happens with nonprofits, especially those who are struggling with generating revenue. You do what you know because it requires less and less output. What do I mean by that? If you're delivering the same programs, you know what to do, you know which resources you need, and you just keep doing them. But if you had more money come into your organization, then maybe you can lift up and you can say, my goodness, we don't have teens coming into our programs anymore. Why? Because you've had the opportunity to talk to them and they're like, yeah, we're not trying to do that old stuff, with your old curriculum. They're on their phone. So maybe you need to, look at how to create an opportunity for them to engage electronically. Not necessarily build out an app, but just have a different type of conversation. Maybe the examples that you're using in your workshop needs to be updated, right? So that the language is synonymous to the language that your constituents are using. Maybe you need to bring in younger people who can talk to them on a level that they feel, comfortable with. Or maybe you need to bring in older people if you're serving seniors. If you don't have the bandwidth because you don't have the money to come in and allow you to update your program, your projects, your services, what you're delivering, then that could be a reason why people aren't showing up. You're just not relating to your constituents. Only you know this. But if you are having a challenge with filling your programs, that could be it. I had one client last week tell me, we used to have like 100 people coming to our workshops. This last workshop, we had 6 people. And 4 of those 6 people were from our organization. The facilitator, the program outreach coordinator, the executive director, and a board member. Like they were 4 of the 6 people. And when we're looking at their topic, I'm like, well, it is the same in terms of the outcome, but the language that you're using is not synonymous. So maybe just a refresh. Maybe you're going to call it what that buzzword is for right now, and that's where people will come. If you're using the same language that you did in 1980, it's not going to attract people in 2024, 2025, 2026. So looking at those things, I think also will help you to increase the participation. The last thing I want to offer up is you want to establish collaborations in your community, right? People see other nonprofits as competitors. They're not. They're your community. So if you have an organization that is bringing people in through the doors, partner with them. Say, hey, can I deliver my workshops at your location? Can I partner with you to enhance your programs and services? And what you may want to do is before you even do that, sit in on some of their classes. If they have a full program where people are coming in, look and see what they're doing, and then you can refresh your course. You can refresh your delivery model. You can refresh what it is that you're offering. And then when you reach out to them and they see, because if you reach out to them and you're delivering this old stale stuff, they're going to be like, nah, partner, I'm good. So you want to make sure that when you step to them, they will see you as a benefit. They will see your content, your curriculum, what it is that you're offering as something that's in alignment with what they're doing. So visit some other organizations, see how they're delivering their programs, and then try and partner with them. If they already have a crowd that's coming in, you basically just show up and they've already done the recruitment for you. So just some things to think about. Don't continue to flounder. I don't know why these people aren't showing up. Like step into it, lean into it, look at yourself. Look at the way that you're delivering your programs. Look at the way that other people, your competitors, not really competitors, but your collaborating community-based organizations are delivering their projects. so that you can strengthen what it is that you do. This year, we're going deeper. We're not just staying at the surface. I'm not just going to tell you, oh, if people aren't showing up, try changing your color palette. No, we're going to dive deep. If people aren't showing up, look at yourself. Look at your organization and see how you can meet the needs of your community. I want you to also look at moving from struggle mode to really delivering consistent programs. How do you do that? It's by focusing on running a profitable nonprofit. When you have profit, you have choices. So as we go into this next commercial, I want you to know that I've got you. I'm not just bumping my gums, just talking at you. I have the roadmap to help you get to long-term sustainability. If you don't know how to do what I'm talking about today, I've got a course that can set you up to give you exactly what you need. Let's take a look. Are you struggling to fund your programs? Can't get a grant to save your life? Most consultants will share the what of how to start a nonprofit or how to fundraise. They may even share the why, but they don't share the how, because that's where they make their money. Now, I'm not hating, I'm a businesswoman too, but I've been where you are, trying to make the world a better place, struggling to keep the doors open, up to the wee hours of the night, writing grants and doing whatever needed to be done. And because I've walked in your shoes, I'm not here to make you spin your wheels, waste your time or your hard-earned money. We ain't got time for that. The world needs you. I'm here to show you how to transform that pit you keep dumping your hard-earned money into a profitable nonprofit. I take my 30 years of nonprofit experience as a founder, executive director, program developer, grant writer, and funder, giving out over $7 million annually in grants, and I save you literally thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours. I walk you through setting up your nonprofit organization so that you can be generating enough revenue to cover your monthly expenses in just 90 days. How would that feel? Not paying bills from your personal bank account. I share my insider secrets, tips, tricks of the trade, and provide you with a step-by-step roadmap on how to turn your bootstrap organization into a profitable nonprofit. Within 6 months, you could be generating enough revenue to pay your salary or fully fund your programs. The choice is yours. But you have to get the blueprint. And it took me 3 years to develop it, but it's here and it's going to change your life. Join my other successful clients who are just like you, full of passion and determination, but they had no idea all that it takes to run and fund a successful nonprofit. Now they're winning grants and drawing a salary, and they know what it is that they're supposed to be doing to run a successful nonprofit. They're no longer making it up as they go. They have the roadmap, and they're clear about next steps. And I want that for you too. So what do you get in this course? You'll walk away with knowledge, products, processes, and systems. Not just a bunch of promises, but exactly what you need to turn your organization into a profitable nonprofit. I promise, you don't need grants. What you need is a solid infrastructure. And this course is going to give you all of that and more. And what's more, it comes with a money-back guarantee. So go ahead, click the link below to register for this course. Welcome back to On Air with Amber Wynn, Philanthrepreneur. And today we're talking about if you're struggling to fill your programs, what all of the things you could do. And I hope you really take seriously my request for you to slow down and really just look at your organization. Because as I've said 1,000 times, and I'll continue to say, the world needs nonprofits, but it doesn't need warm-bodied nonprofits. You know what I mean? The world needs nonprofits that are making an impact. And the only way that you can make an impact, beloveds, is if you are generating enough revenue so that you can put into your community the resources that it needs. And so now we're at the point of the episode where you get to ask me your questions. It's called Ask Amber, and I am so happy to answer. Today's question comes from Missy. Missy is in Antelope Valley, and she hit me up on LinkedIn, and her question is, "Hi, Amber. This is Missy from Antelope Valley. I'm 2 years into starting my nonprofit and doing things I never knew I would need to do. I'm good at outreach and delivering programs, but I rarely get to do much of that because I'm writing grants and processing payroll, meeting with other organizations. I'm doing social media, fixing computers, everything except what I started the organization to do. I guess my question is, am I doing this right? And will it get better? First of all, Missy, I'm sending you so much love right now. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And I will just say that you're not alone. So many nonprofits struggle because they didn't understand that when they started their nonprofits, they were actually starting a business. And this is what it takes to keep a nonprofit going. You don't get to just do the things that you love, which is typically outreach and running programs. You have to generate money, right? She says that she's processing payroll. Well, how is she paying her staff? She's writing grants, right? There's so much more to running a nonprofit organization. Like, you should have seasoned board members to help you fundraise so it's not such a heavy lift. If you have people who understand their role according to the IRS, they are there to help you fundraise because that's their primary responsibility as a nonprofit board member. You should have diversified funding streams so it's not solely on your back. Every nonprofit should have 10 streams of revenue. If you have 10 streams of revenue, let's just say one of those is employee giving. You have registered on nonprofits, for-profits website to receive monthly payroll deductions. So let's just say every month you get $300. That $300 could go to funding food for your after-school program. So if you have 10 streams of revenue, you're not doing all of the work because there are other streams that are bringing in revenue, so it's not all on your shoulders. What am I saying, Missy? I'm saying a nonprofit is a business. And what it appears as if you did is you stepped into the space thinking, all right, I'm going to start a nonprofit and I'm going to deliver programs and, I'm going to do outreach and get people, not realizing all that you would have to do as an executive director. An executive director is responsible for overseeing the running of the organization. The running of the organization is running a business. So many people step in not understanding that. They think they're just going to get this grant and they're just going to, run the programs. You have to run the business. So, to answer your question, yes, you're doing it right. You're not doing it wrong. Are you doing it the most effective way? No. I want you to consider, if you want it to get better, you need to learn how to be an effective executive director. You need to learn what it takes to move your organization forward. You need to learn how to bring your head up from the weeds so that you're not doing everything, that you're building out an infrastructure where you're supported by your board, where you're supported by diversified funding streams, and that comes down to you getting knowledge about what it takes to run a nonprofit. That's how it's going to get better. If you continue just to churn out all of these grants, then you're going to continue to have all of that weight on your shoulders. I'm going to ask you to lift your head and just try to learn more about running an effective nonprofit so that you can get back to doing what it is you started this nonprofit to do. And that's the outreach and delivering of programs. So go to my website, check out my resources, especially check out 90 Days to a Profitable Nonprofit because it's going to help you run your nonprofit business successfully. Thank you so much for your question, Missy. If any of you are interested in asking me a question, that's what I'm here for. Hit me up on my socials, Instagram, my website. You can hit me up there. LinkedIn, Spotify, and let me know what it is you want me to answer. Now we're going to transition into my favorite part of the episode where I get to shine a light on the most amazing people in this world, which is my nonprofit leaders, my executive directors, my founders, and I've expanded this to even include those subject matter experts out there who provide vital support services to my nonprofits. I consider myself a part of that. My nonprofit consultants, we are here to support you so that you can do the work that you need to do in the community. And we're wrapping up our series with an amazing nonprofit, Chasing Seven Dreams. Tanika Doyle is the founder and executive director, and she's been sharing with us not only some of her ups, but some of her downs and how she's addressed those things so that she can make sure that her community, young adults with autism, receives the support that they need, that they live the most vibrant, fulfilling, independent lives that they can. So check out the last part of the series with Tanika Doyle in our Shine On nonprofit.
First, thank you, Amber Wynn. You played a huge part of that. I was part of a cohort where you and I met, and it was developing me as a leader, as a founder, and helping me build that infrastructure. I didn't realize before we met that I wasn't ready to go after the larger grants because I didn't have a budget. I remember I didn't have that when we first met because I was self-funding it. The budget was as I was spending my money, right? So thank you again for helping me where we are today. But yeah, I was able to learn the knowledge, take the tools that you gave me. I participated in your course and I took your course, and just all of the training that you provided and helping me develop. I applied for an SAE grant, which is DDS, and it was for my Pamper My Baby, and I was awarded first time applying for a program that I had not did. It was a program that they believed in my vision on paper. So I was very fortunate and very blessed, thank you God, to get it and have the right people in my path to put me there. And so having that did change everything around. I was able to get an office, I was able to get staff, and I was able to have that flow of income to ease the load where I didn't have to self-fund or chase down a lot of different grants that you're not guaranteed to get and that you're dependent on to run your business.
Welcome back. You're on air with Amber Wynn, and we got to spend some time with an amazing nonprofit in our community. Listen, if you'd like for me to shine the light on you so that you have exposure, not only to your community who probably need your services, may not know that you exist, but also to other community-based organizations in your community. You never know. Someone may see your video and say, oh, that would be a great person or organization to collaborate with. This is how you get in front of funders, people. Somebody's going to share this and a funder's going to be like, this is an amazing individual and amazing work. So if you're interested in being featured in my Shine On nonprofits, hit me up on my socials. You know where I am. I'd love to feature you. So now we're going to wrap up with the Mindset Minute. And in this minute, I want you to just keep it real, people. If you have been delivering programs and, your registration is low, people haven't been showing up, I want you just to be real with yourself. Don't say, well, I don't know why people aren't coming. I put out flyers. I want you to pause, because if in fact you've been delivering these programs and services and no one's showing up, it says a couple of things. It says maybe you need to step back and look at what it is that you're providing. Is it still a need? If you've been doing it for 2, 3, 10, 20 years, and now your participation is dwindling, maybe there's no longer a need, or maybe the way that you're delivering your programs and services need a refresh, right? Maybe what you're providing is of service, but the way that you're packaging it, the way that you're delivering it, it needs some updating, But what I don't want you to do is to continue to deliver programs and services and you're only having 1 to 3% of your population showing up. It's saying something to you. I want you to stop and I want you to listen, right? Think about the impact that you started your nonprofit to make. If you're only getting 1 to 3 to 15% of people showing up for your programs, you're not doing what you started your nonprofit to do. And so pause, take a look. Maybe you can refresh your content. Maybe you can look at different ways to do outreach, but the world needs you. And if what you're providing is no longer of service, then use your talent in another place, right? Maybe it's time for you to say, okay, we either need to revamp this nonprofit to meet the needs of my community, which an assessment will get you there. Or you say, okay, maybe we need to, close it down, and I can share my personal experience that I've learned over the past 10, 15 years to support a nonprofit organization. Our goal this year is not to stay surface. Our goal is to go deep and to really look at our nonprofits and see if they're making an impact. And if they're not, how we can either change them or how we can redirect our energy to support others in our community. That is our goal for this year. Okay. So that's it for my Mindset Minute. As a matter of fact, that's it for this episode. I'd like to thank you as always for spending your half hour with me. If you found any value in this episode, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share it with other people in our community who you think would benefit from it. And as I close out, I'm going to say to you what I say to you every week. I want you to take care of yourself like you take care of your community. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe and leave a review on iTunes. Head over to www.amberwyn.net/podcast for the links and resources mentioned in today's podcast. See you next time.